Recently, I've come to you with messages of gratitude for our Durham COVID heroes, the public health leaders who are helping us get through the pandemic, the individuals and organizations who have helped Durham distribute hundreds of thousands of free face masks to our most vulnerable residents, and the community members who are working so hard to house our homeless residents during the pandemic and to keep them healthy and safe. We know we've still got a long way to go with COVID-19. Our infection rates remain high, and we all have concerns about the new strains of the virus. Still, for the first time, we've got real hope with the vaccines going into people's arms, thousands of them in Durham every week. I'm in the eligible age group, and I was fortunate to get my first vaccine in my doctor's office last week. Make sure you get your vaccine when you become eligible. During the past nearly 11 months since Durham's first COVID case, one of our greatest challenges has been feeding our school children, our seniors, and other vulnerable groups so that they don't go hungry. Even before COVID-19, we had thousands of people in Durham who were food insecure, going without 3 square meals a day, sometimes not knowing where their next meal would come from. COVID has only exacerbated this, with thousands of people out of work and with children out of school where they could always before expect a free breakfast and lunch. A group of true COVID heroes has taken up the task of feeding our hungry residents, and I want you to know their names. But you can never know all of their names because it's almost overwhelming to think about the enormous number of people and the tremendous coordination necessary to support our food insecure neighbors through the pandemic. The people I'm about to tell you about will leave out so many of the dozens of churches and organizations and literally thousands of volunteers who have delivered food or packaged it or donated to the cause. And I want you to know that I appreciate every one of you. I want to start naming our heroes with Jim Keaton, the DPS, Durham Public Schools School Nutrition Director, and all of the school nutrition services staff at Durham Public Schools. You have been amazing. I want to call out Donna Rewald, Director of Durham Cooperative Extension and an exceptionally able leader who has led the coordination of our food security efforts, pulling together food pantries, churches, restaurants, and donors to make a lot of this happen. I want you to know about the Feast program, initiated by Megan Gonzalez-Smith and the Durham Public Schools Foundation, which sprung into action when schools went virtual last spring to feed thousands and thousands of our school children and their families in an unprecedented outpouring of community activism and love. So many volunteers gave their time to this effort. But I especially want to thank Lyndon Thayer of the Food Insight Group for coordinating it, Andrea Reusing from the Durham Hotel, who organized the participation of the local restaurants, Farmer Food Share, the Interfaith Food Shuttle, and all the Durham restaurants who participated, Mothers and Sons and Google Hoop, Southern Harvest, 9th Street Bakery, East Durham Bake Shop, Borakua Soul, Hope Valley Diner, Solely Vegan, Centro, Mateo, BU Cafe, Sweeties, Dashi, Chicken Hut, Monut, Saltbox, Lantern, Juju, Coco Cinnamon, the Durham Hotel, Vin Rouge, Dos Perros, Jack Tar, Spicy Green Gourmet, Zwellies, Child Care Services, Meal Services, Torchlight, and Little Waves. All of you all deserve our thanks. I want to thank our irrepressible local filmmaker and backyard barbecue chef extraordinaire, Katina Parker, along with Adele Rose, Dorello Lukey, and their crew at Feed Durham. I want to thank Julia Love and everybody at Feed the Fight. I want to thank Naima Kos and everybody at the Zakat Foundation, whom I have joined for their food box giveaways. I want to thank Durham County Public Health's DINE team and the City of Durham's GIS team for their work creating an accessible map of feeding sites. Thanks to Betsy Kreitz and everybody at End Hunger Durham for your heroic work feeding our vulnerable seniors. Thanks to the many, many faith communities who have fed your hungry congregants and so many more. Thanks to the operators of our more than 60 local food pantries, too many for me to name all of them today, but they include COVID heroes like Jacqueline Blackwell of Feed My Sheep, Reverend Julio Ramirez Eve and Miguel Rubiera with Iglesia Presbiteriana Emmanuel, Reverend Sharon Schultz of Parktown Food Hub, and so many more of our food pantry operators. Thanks to the many, many organizations who deliver food, including Kasib Abdullah and Believers United for Progress, Julian Shee with Root Causes, an organization of Duke medical workers and students, and the Duke Free Lunch Partners. And the Durham Free Lunch Partners. Thanks to the organizations that are always there feeding our seniors, but had to step up big time during COVID. The Durham Center for Senior Life and Meals on Wheels, feeding hundreds of our seniors every single day, whether or not COVID is with us. Thanks to El Centro Hispano for their work feeding our Latinx population. Thanks to the grassroots teams at Communities in Partnership for feeding residents of their neighborhoods and for working to build an equitable food system. And thanks to our community donors. We could not have done it without you. Blue Cross and Blue Shield, the United Way, AT&T, No Kid Hungry, our wonderful national partner, Merge Records, Biogen, the Oak Foundation, Pacific Western Bank, the Novartis Foundation, James and Lauren Whitehurst, Ideal Industries Foundation, our wonderful local musician and public school champions, His Golden Messenger. If you haven't heard their music, you need to. And Richard and Lana Harkrader, Leah Rubert, I'm married to her, by the way, and the Clear Wind Fund, and to more than 1,350 individual donors who have made all this work possible. This is the Durham way. Together, we are feeding our food insecure residents and keeping them safe. Thank you to the COVID heroes who are making this possible. Meanwhile, remember to stay safe, socially distance, wash your hands, wear your mask, and don't gather in groups, especially inside. We're going to beat this virus. There are better days ahead for sure. Let's all stay safe so we can get